Hello, friends. Welcome back to Love Extremists TV. It's me, E, aka Ethan, and I'm really excited to be here today to talk about interrelational love in the workplace. We're going to explore bringing compassion into work. How can we engage with compassion in our workspace? And there's a couple different ways we can do this. And it's a really exciting topic, and it's something I talk about often with corporations and with different groups because it's so important. So often, workplace is the first place where eyes get rolled when we start talking about love. People are like, what? I can't bring my emotions into work. That's crazy. I need to be a different person when I show up in the workplace. Not anymore. We need to show up and leave complete. And that means bringing our full selves into work and being able to connect with compassion for ourselves and also for others. So the first principle here is about being a mirror. Be a mirror at work. Think about what that looks like. How do you see yourself in other people, in your peers, in your coworkers? Where are the challenges they're going through relevant to you in your life? How can you relate? How can you show up for each other? And maybe start by showing up asking for support or sharing what you're going through, right? Checking in and saying, hey, what's happening outside work here? What's going on at home? Or what's going on with your family? Or how are you doing through this crazy pandemic? And just checking in and recognizing we have these shared experiences that we're all going through. And as human beings, we can start to interrelate and connect compassionately and show up and hold space for each other and find ourselves in others. So that's a big part. Be a mirror. The other side of being a mirror is all about self-love, is sharing your self-love practices with others. That could be, I love treating myself to a coffee in the morning. So I'm gonna extend that outwards and find someone in my workplace who I wanna share a coffee with. Maybe they're working remotely, so I'll send them a coffee or I'll Venmo them $5, right? I've talked about this before. Maybe it's just as simple as saying, hey, I woke up this morning and cleaned my feet in the shower. It was awesome. What do you do for yourself to feel good in the morning, right? Just connecting on self-love and sharing your practices can be an amazing way of kind of mirroring and just engaging with each other and being like, hey, this is what I like to do. What do you like to do to love on yourself? How can we engage with that? How can we support each other through that? And a lot of this is about being the first to be vulnerable, showing up a little bit emotional or open or just bringing your heart into a conversation and checking in deeply. And there's a risk in that. But if you're the first to set that framework, someone will respond to you and mirror you, right? And see you and want to respond with love and with compassion the way that you're showing up. So this is one area and way. Be a mirror. Think about how you can be a mirror in the workplace. The second one is relate as a peer. Find ways to connect peer to peer. What are universal human experiences that you're all going through, right? Is it you have kids? Is it you have parents? We all have parents in some way, shape, or form. Is it you're going through a pandemic? We're all going through a pandemic right now. Is it a health challenge in your life? What are human relatable experiences that maybe give you a pathway to engage beyond work? And to just talk about some things that you're going through. Again, you being vulnerable first allows someone else to show up vulnerable with you and to build a deeper connection. Have something to check in on. Have something to connect about with love, with our hearts. Be real with each other. So this is a big part, is about that kind of peer connectivity. The other idea is finding peer work groups. There's this thing called employee resource groups, ERGs, in large corporations. If you find one that relates to your experience and your lived experience, that's a great opportunity to find people who are peers. You can also create a community. It could be anything like we love comics to we love this particular sport, or we want to engage in this particular dialogue. Maybe it's a foreign language club, right? There's different ways of engaging amongst peers to just build rapport and create micro communities within a workplace where you have a little crew. People you can trust, people who you can connect with, people who you can show up to and relay your challenges with, and they can be advocates for you and you can be advocates for them. So that's a great way of kind of buddying up and finding commonalities and looking to resource groups or creating your own little micro communities within your work group to build rapport and build connection. So we have be a mirror, we have relate as peers, and the last really important aspect here is support growth with compassion. And what I mean by that is a couple things. But really, first and foremost, it's about recognizing that love is all about supporting the growth of another person. And that can sometimes be tricky, right? I could commit to telling you every time you have bad breath. And as much as that might upset you or frustrate you, it's also a very loving thing to do because I'm looking out for how you show up in the world. And if your breath is kicking, nobody's gonna wanna talk to you. So it's like, hey, I see you, I want you to thrive. Your breath is stinky, let's resolve that. Bringing that into work, feedback is what comes up. How do we give feedback in a loving way? How do we see our peers and say, hey, I used to struggle with this thing, relate it back to ourselves in the mirroring, this is how I resolved it, or this is how I got through it, or I see you might be grappling with this challenge, or hey, can I help you? Can I give you some feedback? Are you open to maybe rethinking your approach with this process or this project? There's so many different ways to give feedback with compassion that sees the whole human and recognizes someone not in a patronizing way, not in like a power way, but more in a dynamic of, hey, I want to help you out. I want to support you. I believe in you. And it's important to recognize with the feedback thing, every person is different. So the way one person may receive feedback could be completely different from the way another person receives it. It's important for you to think about how you want to receive feedback and give it in the way that you want to receive it, but also ask people. If you have peers where you think you may be able to help them, support them, help them grow, ask them if they want advice. Ask them if they want feedback first. Ask them if they're open to hearing a perspective. Maybe you want to give them some words of encouragement first, right? Often in management, it's encouraged to say some supportive things like, you are kicking butt in this, this, and this, and I see you having opportunity to grow here. And this is an area where I think we could do better, and I want to support you through that. So, all about finding generative ways to give feedback and finding the flexibility and being open to doing it in different ways with different people and thinking about how you'd want to receive feedback, especially if there's a power dynamic. Ideally, there isn't. Ideally, you're peers and you can see each other as peers. Like we said, you can see each other as mirrors, as human beings, and just say, hey, I believe in you. I want to help your career. I want to help you further what you're doing. So bringing love to work, all about showing up and being a mirror, relating as a peer, not necessarily a teacher or a leader or someone from on high, but just seeing each other as human to human, experiencing human life, and supporting growth with compassion, recognizing that we're all here to support each other's growth, and our growth helps the company grow, helps everyone grow. So those are a couple things I've been thinking about as it relates to showing up with compassion and, may I say, love at work. Really important topic, something a lot of people are thinking about, especially through the pandemic, especially as they're disconnected from their team members socially and are only orienting online. There's so many creative and new ways for us to connect and find compassion in the workplace. So I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, pass it along to a friend. Maybe you have ways of relating with compassion in the workplace. Please post them in the comments. Subscribe to this channel if you resonate with what we're talking about, and join us as we share more resources all the time at extremist.love. Just sign up for the newsletter. You'll get all the downloads on what we're talking about, the workshops we're offering, programs happening throughout the week, and videos like this. Thanks for being here. Have a great week, and see you at work. Peace.